My brothers and sisters in Christ, one of the most common expressions amongst Catholic culture is a phrase known as Catholic guilt. It's one that refers about how Catholicism causes one to feel guilty all the time compared to other people. And this is jokingly used as a negative, when in fact it's a great gift, and one that I can't help but think of in light of today's gospel. In fact, the sense of the constant reminder of our sinfulness is a great gift. Now, it's not a gift if the goal is to have the perception that you're the best thing since sliced bread. If it's all about me, if it's all about my ego in the world, then certainly guilt would get in the way. But guilt, unlike shame, and we always have to differentiate, guilt is simply that sting of conscience that causes me to turn and be reconciled to God. My guilt is what causes me to constantly seek communion, my strength in God and not in myself. And so in today's gospel, we get this parable of the servant and the mercy from his master compared to the lack of mercy he shows to his fellow servant. And I always, every time this passage come up, talk about the inadequacy of the translation. Our translation in English just tells us that the master forgave the servant a huge amount. Huge doesn't begin to tell the tale. It's a nearly infinite amount compared to the petty amount that he holds against his fellow servant. But for us, when we constantly are aware of our sinfulness, and that doesn't mean to beat ourselves up, when we're constantly aware, and this is by being in a mode of having the habit of constantly examining our conscience, when we have ever in front of us our own sinfulness, then we indeed know we have our proper relationship with God, that He is the master. We are not the master. God is the master, and that fills us with a sense of gratitude and peace because we realize how tremendous of a gift His mercy and love is. When we are aware, when we're not aware of the great gift, then our gratitude is diminished. But when we're aware of how guilty we are, in fact, of how the master should be so punishing towards us and isn't, then we realize how tremendous of a gift His love and mercy is. And in turn, when this is constantly in front of us, this changes not only our disposition of gratitude, but our disposition of charity towards others. When I do not constantly have in front of my own nose my shortcomings, then it is easy to condemn and constantly be in judgment and anger towards others, because others around me sin constantly. They do things to irritate me, they do things to wrong me. And if I, in fact, am the best thing since sliced bread, then I am right in condemning all of the inferior people around me for all they do wrong. But if I am constantly aware of my own fallen sense, then I can have greater mercy. In fact, the pitiful, the pittance that my neighbor does against me, when I'm aware that it's as nothing compared to the offense I've shown towards God, then I won't be as quick to anger, as quick to judge. In fact, my brothers and sisters in Christ, today's gospel speaks to the imperative of the habit of examining our conscience. First of all, yes, to get us to the sacrament of penance. Yes, we need to make a habit of going to confession, to constantly be renewed in God's grace, to be healed. And this, in turn, this guilt becomes a great gift as it causes us to be reconciled and healed, but then it fills us with gratitude at the great generosity of the Master, and it helps build me up in patience and mercy towards my neighbor. In fact, I will find myself in this humility and a greater sense of peace and harmony with those around me. And yes, so what seems like, as we say, the Catholic guilt, in fact, doesn't turn into beating myself up. It's simply acknowledging things for what they are and realizing the peace is, it's okay that I don't have everything together because God does. And His gift is so tremendous. And in fact, how can I constantly be angry with my neighbor when I realize that I too am a sinner and do wrong to others? But thanks be to God, His mercy endures forever, and all sinners find the font of mercy in Him who gives us life. and for that we must rejoice. May God bless you.